Hi, so I'm Nico from Balangay Entertainment. Sorry I couldn't make it to the launch. I'm actually having a root canal. I've been having root canals in the past weeks. So I'm Nico. I'm the game designer and the programmer of The Who from Balangay Entertainment. I prepared some things for the launch. So I was asked, what are your thoughts about the pandemic and families? So as individuals, I think we all have needs. We need to work to bring in money and find value in our lives. We need to go out and shop for our necessities and also for things we enjoy. We need to go out to hang around friends and other loved ones. And sometimes we just really need to get out of the house and enjoy some yummy food or milk tea. And by cutting us off from the outside world, the pandemic has cut us off from the many different ways we take care of ourselves. Now, since we are forced to stay at home, we have no choice but to rely on the other people in our household. And different people have different ways of coping to the fear and anxiety brought about by the changes. Some behaviors are not healthy for the self and the other people at home. However, not everyone is able to recognize their own coping mechanisms and the coping mechanisms of others, which can lead to fighting, misunderstandings, and other conflicts at home. And to truly help each other cope with the crisis, we have to understand ourselves and each other. People are very different when stressed. Some people want to play loud music while others want to be quiet. Some people like to cry while others prefer to be stoic. Some people like to rant and release their emotions while others like to look for the silver lining. Because we are so different from each other, there are so many occasions for misunderstandings and judgments, which will only cause more problems when people are forced to stay together in a house. I think that in order to ease the suffering caused by the pandemic, families need to spend the time and effort to understand each other and what are the best ways to support each other given the type of personality a person has. For example, if someone is introverted in the family and doesn't want to come out of their room, the other family member should not take it as the person is being antisocial, but they just need alone time for themselves. If someone in the house has been crying on a daily basis, the other family member should accept that maybe that is the emotional outlet that works for that person, and that judging them as weak or too emotional is not helpful. If someone in the house is irritable and complains a lot, maybe they don't know why they are acting that way as well, and they need the non judgmental support of their family to understand what they are going through. It is my hope that this game can bring families together in a fun way and serve as an icebreaker on sharing their personalities and coping mechanisms. It is truly not an easy time for everyone, and people may do things that are not healthy for themselves and the people they love. So, how did we make the game? I took inspiration in the game from viral videos going around social media where parents would be asked funny questions about their kids and they would point at the kid without any of the children knowing. So, for example, a question would be like, who eats the most food? And the parents would point to one of their kids. I thought it was a good and simple family game that could be an icebreaker on topics about COVID. So next, we had to formulate the questions and the trivia for the game. So we worked with CPTCSA for this since they have more knowledge on the typical problems families were now experiencing due to COVID. Miss Gina and Miss Louise of CPTCSA submitted a list of initial issues and questions that were relevant to the topic. I then reviewed and edited them to make them more fun for a game. I also added a lot of my own questions. I thought for this advocacy game to be successful, it should also have some fun bonding questions that don't directly connect with the advocacy so that people just enjoy playing it. So parang pang bonding lang talaga. I placed in a lot of questions that I thought and felt would be funny even outside of the context of the quarantine. Of course, we still needed to put in the advocacy. After some of the questions, a piece of trivia or information will be displayed in the game to drive home the advocacy and learnings. The questions and trivia were also categorized into four categories. So, general questions, COVID-19 awareness, psychological impact of COVID, and online sexual exploitation of children. You'll when you play, so you'll probably not see all the questions from all four categories in one game. So you'll have to play many times to see them all. We originally only wanted to put about 30 questions and trivia in the game, but since there were so many topics and we just thought of so many fun questions, we ended up putting around 116 questions in the game. So then after that, the game was coded and animated using Unity 3D, which is a free game engine. Our artist Aaron was the one who made the different assets, and then I programmed it in and coded it in and put in the different animations. So just about us. So who are we? We are Balangay Entertainment is a game studio that makes socially relevant Filipino games and hobby games. So instead of more traditional IEC mediums like books, pamphlets, videos, etc., we use games to raise awareness and understanding of an advocacy. So we've made games on climate change, DRRM, positive discipline, and energy conservation. So originally, we focused on tabletop games like card games and board games because we wanted to create social activities. But because of the pandemic, we are now exploring video games, with The Who being our first video game. Although it's a video game, but you still play it with the family. We also make games just for fun. So we made Darna at ang Nawawalang Bato. So it's a game where hahanapin nyo yung puting bato ni Darna. Tapos pag nakuha nyo na, sisigaw kayong Darna para manalo. Bagani the card game, so based on the teleserye, the fantaserye with Liza Soberano. And the newest game we made was Lastic Man Tago-Taguan, so based on Mars Ravelo's Lastic Man. So if you're interested in exploring using games to further your advocacy, you can contact us at info@balangay.games, or you can message us on Facebook. Thank you, and I hope you enjoy the game.